Hi everyone, Kira Schaefer here. And there have been a number of misconceptions about how you get your books into booksellers, into bookstores and that kind of thing. And I just wanted to clear up, some confusion so that you're able to understand it and also potentially get your books into booksellers and bookstores as well. This is what global distribution actually means. I'm going to go through each part of who does what when it comes to selling books and getting books out there. So what publishers do. So this would be As You Wish Publishing. If you're working with publishing services provider like us, we make sure that all of your accounts are in your name, that you're able to um, have full access, be able to make changes and do everything that you need to do when it comes to your book, as far as changes like if you wanted to change the price or if you wanted to change your returnability on your book, that kind of thing. And also be able to order your print copies at cost. Hybrid publishers will have your book up on their accounts. They will determine what they're going to charge you for your wholesale copy. And they will also get a cut of the royalties potentially. So it's really important that you know kind of who you're going to. If you are going to a traditional publisher, that means you have already gotten a literary agent. That agent has been shopping your book for you, and that's they're going to pay you, right, to produce your book, and they will change it and adjust it however they want to, however they think that it'll be marketable. If you are on the low end of somebody getting a traditional publishing deal, like let's say it's $5,000 or something like that, they're going to market your book for as long as they think that it's marketable, and then they'll stop, and you will definitely need a reversal clause or reversion clause in your contract to make sure that you have the ability to take back your book and use it how you would like to use it. Um, okay, so those are like the three main ways. You can also DIY your book and do everything on your own also. And we do have a program at As You Wish Publishing on how to do that. Um, but for the most part, let's just talk about what we would do. So at As You Wish Publishing, we would produce the book, upload the book. So what does produce the book mean? It means that we would, make sure all of your files are absolutely perfect and correct, formatted correctly. Your book cover, your ISBN number, all of those things are taken care of completely. And I know it sounds like, oh, well, it's just one or two things, but those one or two things are 1,000 micro things. So it's quite a bit, all right? We would upload the book to the author-owned accounts with global distribution. That would be Ingram Spark, and we would help assist with KDP, which is Kindle Direct Publishing, it's Amazon. All right, and but with Ingram Spark, it's university libraries, other independent booksellers, Barnes and Noble, that kind of thing. And I'm specifically talking about the print version. All right. From there, we would make it available through distribution channels. Now, when I say make it available, that means that an independent bookstore can essentially get your book and order it. They can order it through the catalog system. Okay. Which is it's not automatic. Booksellers don't just get books delivered to them sight unseen. That's not how that works. Even with traditional publishers, they have to order those books and they pay for those books to then retail sell them. All right. Then the other thing that a publisher would do would ensure that the metadata is correct as well. Okay, so what does that mean? That means like BISEC numbers, that means your cataloging or categoric systems. You need to ensure your metadata is correct. If it's not correct, then the cataloging system kind of falls flat because it won't be kind of searchable. Just know that there's like a million books, okay, that get produced every year, whether it's on Kindle or Amazon or, Barnes and Noble or Ingram Spark or whatever. Like a lot of books are made available and produced every year. So for you to get above the noise, you kind of have to take a different approach, a different tact. All right. So what do distributors do? Now we've moved on from publishing. That's the end of the job for publishing. As Jewish Publishing doesn't do anything past that. Okay. But I am going to go into some more detail into this because you learn things along the way in this industry. All right. What distributors do, they put the book in wholesale catalogs. Okay. They make it available for bookstores and libraries to order. Okay. So that would be Ingram Spark, not Kindle Direct Publishing, not Amazon. Amazon, they do have some expanded distribution with some caveats and things like that. But as far as kind of what Ingram Spark does, it doesn't do that. It doesn't make it returnable. It doesn't make it available for indie bookstores. It's its own ecosystem. So that's why we decided to move over to Ingram Spark as being the primary, because Kindle Direct Publishing has got its own infrastructure. And we want to support independent booksellers and, things like that to really, bolster the economy of bookselling. All right. Then we have, what do bookstores do? Bookstores are going to be the ones who decide whether to stock the book or not. It's not automatic. Your books don't drop into stores. It just doesn't happen that way because they're investing in your book. So they have to have a reason to do it in order for them to sell it so that they can make money, so that they can stay open. Okay. All right. So after that, they order copies if they believe there's demand. That's it. They believe there's demand. Now, how you can kind of push some demand is if you said, I live in the area, I want to do a book signing at your store. I can bring, 30 friends, or I can create some book selling events with me that will bring people into your store, and they're going to be happy to maybe order some books there, probably maybe 10 copies, maybe 30 copies, something like that, to just get that energy moving with your book. Another thing is you could say, well, do you know of any, you can talk to people and just say, hey, do you know of any book clubs or anything like that that would want to read my book? If you know of metaphysical bookstores, things like that, if that's the kind of thread that your book is in, then you can talk to them about, bringing your book there, doing a small talk, doing something for free, and letting them know that you support the indie book publishing industry. Okay. What marketers and publicists do, they generate awareness, they drive demand, and they help authors reach readers. Here's a big thing that you need to be very aware of, is that once your book goes public, you are going to get a ton of people contacting you, and they are not legit. I'm so sorry to say, they're not legit. They're not on the up and up. They just want it kind of, I don't know why they do this, but it's awful. It's like, I'm a part of this book club, and it's not. It's just they got your email, and they're going to scam. And scammers be scamming, okay? So don't fall for that nonsense. Just know that if you want to market your book, you're going to have to reach out to marketers who specifically market books. I would say, though, that if you get into any kind of networking groups or connect with people like that are in your town, even that you can actually meet up with face to face and connect with, they actually might help with selling your book a little bit better than just getting some random emails from people. And I'm telling you, they look fancy. They're like, we're with Harper and Collins and we found your book, or we're with this and that. And they're not. They're not. The big five publishers have their own ecosystem. They have their own thing going on. And to break into that, that means you have already had a literary agent, you were with a traditional publisher, and it's happening that way. Also, if you know of book clubs, you reach out to the book clubs, right? You connect with the book clubs. Not, it's not going to be the other way around generally. Okay, I just need to say that to you. You can publicize your own book. There's nothing saying that you can't do that. You most certainly can. You can read books about publicizing your book. You can talk to people. You can network with people. If you already know people, that you can connect with and say, hey, what's your favorite bookstore? Do you know them there? Like, can you connect me with them? That kind of thing. It's okay to do those things. It's okay to put your book out into the world. Okay, so what authors do? You do all of it. You don't do all of it, but you build relationships. You tell people that your book exists. You are the one who contacts bookstores, podcasts, organizations, libraries, book clubs. Um, Anything that you feel like could connect the dots. If you happen to go to events where you know that there are authors there that have, gotten these kind of like contracts or deals or whatever, and you can say, hey, what would you say? What would be some great advice that you would give to help me to know what to do next? What was something that was really successful for you? It's okay for you to ask questions of people who are in a position to know and have done these things. Okay. All right. So let's see. I think overall, the main thing is just to know the role, right? Know what a publisher does, know what a marketer does, know what a bookstore does, know what a launch strategist does, know what a publicist does. And I would just remember that if you're working with us at As You Wish Publishing, we're the publisher. We do the first part of that. That's it. We produce the book, we upload the book, we make it available through distribution channels like Ingram Spark or Kindle Direct Publishing, which is not just ebook, that's also print book that is with Amazon. And that we ensure the metadata is correct so that it's findable. But everything else, that is completely up to you. And I feel like I did, even through this process, give you a few solid like ideas and steps. And I have approached bookstores before. And it can be a little scary at first, but usually bookstores will be like, oh, okay, cool. Do you make it returnable? Is it on the cataloging system? And those two answers would be yes if you're working with us. And that's it. And then they can say yes and they can say no. And that's up to them. I would make it like really, fun and beneficial for them. I would say, hey, I just published it. I'm brand new to this. I'm super excited about it. Is this something that you would be open to carrying? And if they say, no, we really don't have space for that, or that's not actually the kind of book that we've put in our bookstore, because you have bookstores that are very specialty type bookstores, then just move on to the next one. So we have a US booksellers book list that you can use. It's on our website. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, in our footer, it says US bookstore list. Just click that link and it's free. I put it together in 2024, so there could be more, there could be less. You can also, do your own searches in your area. You can ask your friends. And that is how you get your books into bookstores. You can also do a one sheet and let the booksellers know. You can send them a PDF where in a one sheet, by the way, is the title, what categories are usually, where your book would be found, and also a picture, of your book. You would put in a description of your book, your bisect categories, which I would give you, and just really make sure that that you have as much information on there as to the way in which a bookseller could use your book. Like, it's a book on cooking, It would go into this cooking category, and you could even give them some tips on on what would make it easier for them to sell your book. I mean, it's really just thinking about it. So when you write your book, it's all very cathartic. You're writing it for you. You're getting out your message. You're getting yourself clear about what you want to say and how you want to say it. And then you go back through it and you do it for the reader, right? Because that's who's actually going to be buying your book. You've already committed to what you know to be true. Now you're creating something that the reader can absorb. And then it's about how can the bookseller get that book to the reader, all of which a publisher does not do, whether they're a hybrid publisher, whether they're a traditional publisher, or whether they are a publishing services company. And you might think, but yeah, Kira, yes, they do. They do marketing. Mhm. They put it out to their funnels, yep, along with a lot of other books at the same time. So like, for example, let's say you went the traditional publisher route, they might send out a few sheets to every single bookseller that's in their list, but they might be publishing 2 or 3 other books, and that bookseller might just pick one of those books to retail. Or if it's a hybrid publisher, they might say to you, oh yeah, well, we'll create a website for you, and then we'll pay for the first year, and then you'll have to pay for it after that. But they're not doing any SEO, which is search engine optimization, driving traffic to that website. So it's only as good as the SEO. It's only as good as the Google juice, essentially, the searchability of it. So it's not as good of a thing as you think it might be. When they're selling you on a $20,000 website. So I like to be clear on a lot of these things, but this is kind of the best way to kind of get started. So I hope that was helpful. I know that there's a lot to it, and there's a lot to connect the dots on about it, but just know that you can research. You can find out this information. It is all out there. You can YouTube, you can do all kinds of stuff. The best ways to sell my books. And it's not just to your friends or your family members or whatever. You can get your book out there in a bigger way. But it does take legwork, and it does take time, and it does take connection, and it does take talking about it and getting out there and beating the streets, essentially. Because if you don't do it, nobody else is going to. Even if you had some of these other kinds of contracts. So that's what I have to say about these things. I think it's really important to understand how this whole process works. And I really, truly hope that your book is as successful as you are willing to make it, to get out there and to trust yourself, trust your guidance, and know that what you have to say really does matter. But people aren't going to know that it matters unless you tell them it does. I know it's so funny, but it's powerful work. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep on keeping on. You've got this. I believe in you.